Hey guys, welcome to another video. I know it's been a bit, but today I wanted to just cover like all the new stuff from the test realm and all of the newer stuff from the previous patch, which I haven't covered in a video. So we're just gonna do that all today, and it's gonna be really cool. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing that was really cool, I'm glad they added it, is all of the Mirage spells. And then we also got our Scions, but unfortunately we also have a few bugs that are still around. They haven't really been fixed, so we're gonna take a look at those too and hopefully spread some more awareness on them. But the first Mirage spell we got was Kismet Curse. I'm just kind of showing you my favorites because I didn't want to show them all. Iron Sultan and the Life spell aren't really my favorite, but they're cool too. As you can see, she does the cool locust thing. And also, you'll notice that all of these are because of the divide spells, they actually uh, only do one right in front of them, which is really cool because normally the targeters are like off to the side a little bit. They just go to, like the normal places. But that was that one, and then we've got the sandworm, another super cool spell. Really like this one. I want to find some good use for it in my Crocotopia or not my balance house, but that might take a little bit. So there's that one, and then we got one of my like true favorites. I just love the music here. I think Scorching Scimitars is what this one's called. But oh, it is so cool. Really outdid themselves with this one. Just to mention, I know you guys probably noticed it. Kismet Curse actually did not have the floor that the spell originally has. So you do want to find a good place to kind of put that spell. It might be a little more difficult than it normally would be, but it is still a very cool spell. Another one of my favorites. Slightly less impressive to look at whenever you don't have the battle camera going on, but Snake Charmer is still a very cool spell. Wow. It's also a very long one. And then we got Climaclysm. By far, I think my favorite Mirage spell of the bunch. This one just looks super cool to me. And it even has this cool, like, I never noticed that, but the kind of watery looking effect. It might just be frozen desert, but it does look super cool. And you'll notice all of these are actually playing in order. That is part of the I think that was added this patch, is the magic sequencer, and we'll get into that just a little bit later. But here is one of the Scion spells. It's the Fire Scion, obviously. And all of these, as you can see, have the just the first attack only, which is kind of a shame because the Scion spells have some really cool second effect attacks. But these are still nice to have. And then the last one I wanted to showcase was just, we still got some bugs, like Meteor normally has that final hit, nothing comes out of it, which is a bit of a shame. And then stuff like Gaze of Fate still has this tomb missing, so it looks very bizarre. But that is all of the kind of effect spells I really wanted to cover in this video. And then, as this is just finishing playing out, you notice we have this, which kind of looks just like a bigger breadcrumb, which is fine. But this is our magic sequence reflector, and you can activate this using your random reflector, obviously, or you can change. I think you can change which one it's on using the where is it? The magic counter stuff. So if I wanted to, if I had another button on me, I don't right now, but that's fine. If you put like a set to 0, it would just keep playing the Kismet Curse one, because that's what I have first. But basically, every time you activate this reflector, it's gonna go down the line. So if I just spammed the button a bunch, which is gonna be a mess of sound, sorry. But you'll see I got 3 of them at the same time. So we're just gonna back away from that. But it is kind of a cool way to go ahead and sequence some things together that might not have been doable in the past. So there's some cool stuff you can do with this. It's just going to take a bit of experimenting on y'all's part. So yeah, that is the magic sequence reflector. And then over here, we have some new spells to work with. These are action spells, and this one is obviously not very new, but I do have this reflector targeting our doghouse over here. And you'll notice we have this new spell, and there's another one that ramps up like movement and stuff by 200% or puts it back to normal speed. These are both really useful spells, especially if you've got, say, like in my storm house, I've got a boat that goes across the sea or whatever, and eventually makes it to the dock. Well, if I wanted to, and while it was doing all this movement, I could use one of these spells, and it would actually speed up that movement. So we'll just watch. This is the normal speed, right? And the thing about these is you have to catch the object while it's moving. So if I go ahead and press this again, you'll see it speeds up a lot. So this is a very useful kind of spell. You do, just to note, you have to use it only while it's moving. So if you have it activate at the same time, like I do in this current reflector, you have to end up activating the reflector twice. Which isn't necessarily a problem, but it could mean that you need to do, like, say, a magic timer, or the new sequence reflector would be really useful for this sort of thing. So it's just something to keep in mind. And then over here, we have our other new. I think these are, yes, these are your utility spells. So we have they're all pet related. So we have a make the pet dance, jump, make them sad if you really want to be a jerk to your animals. We also have the walk to item, so it'll walk to a random item that's near it. We have the make them wander or make them stop. And I think this was a new one as well, the silence targeted item. I think that works for things more similar to like say like I don't know. There's a few housing items that have like sound associated with them, which is fine. Um, so yeah, I'm not really gonna show these off too much, but I will just kind of show you. We've got our little baby gobbler boy gremlin thing. I don't know. I don't remember what this guy's called, but he does do a cute little dance whenever we press the button because that's what we had him do. And I think does he just kind of do that? I think he just no, he doesn't do it forever, but he does it for a while. And then you'll notice whenever I press the button, he actually goes back to the reflector. The reflector's like yeah, right on top of me here. So I don't know if he actually just goes back to his original spot whenever this happens. If I move in, say, I think he actually just goes to the spot that he originally started at. But yeah, they're cool things that you can do. This is really helpful for like in I think one of my first tutorial videos, which is wildly outdated now, unfortunately, due to the advanced movement system. But the oh, what's it called? The cutscene that I did in that required you to basically just make the pet visible and then it would disappear at the end, which is fine. But now that you've got these, you can actually tell it when to do this action, which is a really cool thing. And you can do that, I think, even with a breadcrumb down. So basically, you would tell your pet to go to this breadcrumb, and then in that sequence of events, then you would activate the pet attack, sort of thing. So it's some cool stuff. After this, we're gonna come down here. Um, I don't normally go to this house. I don't know why I went here. I just decided, we're gonna have a change of pace. We don't want the Red Barn farm today, and that's fine. So down here, and this is the final thing I'm gonna show in this video. We have our two new items, and these are pretty big actually. There's some really cool stuff you can do with this. So this is the Magic Any Item Player Detector. Right, and what this does is it turns any item that we have selected in here, so in this case our little treant down there, into a player detector. right? And so what that means is if you have, say, a pet on a system or something, you can actually have it teleport a player to a certain target, right? Or cast a spell. So in this case, you'll see we don't have any player detector down there. We're gonna go down, and whenever we get close to our tree, it actually activates this player detector. And so we just have our tree turning into a big Bartleby. It's kind of a cool effect. If you didn't notice, this is also one of the bugged spells, but that's fine. Um, and yeah, so it's a really cool thing that we're able to do now. Um, if you wanted to, say you had a ring of breadcrumbs going around, you could actually add that the any item player detector over here. You could have a few of these set up, and instead of doing the summon, you could actually use, I think it's an action spell, maybe it's utility. I don't know. There's a spell. I think it is an action spell. But it's one that teleports the player to an object sort of thing, right? And so you would have them teleport to, say, a monster dome, and then you basically have a more automated kind of fight system. So you can just have wandering monsters in your house that teleport you to the monster dome, and yada yada yada. It's just a cool idea. Just something I was kind of thinking of. I might make a tutorial video on it later today. We'll see. But yeah, and then you've also kind of an important thing to note is that the player detector only works when the item is visible. So here we've got another new item. This is our invisible magic button. So if I wanted to, I could say, "Oh, you interacted with the fire pit," and it basically turns that fire pit into a pseudo button of sorts. It's a really cool spell or a really cool item. But it works just like any button, so we can press it, and you'll see it turns our tree invisible. Well, because of that, when we get close to him, we actually, and you can still hear him moving and stuff, you're not activating the the spell or anything. So you'll see we press it, yeah, and he's invisible. So we can't actually make that spell happen while he's invisible, but now he is visible again. He should be. Yeah. And it starts working again. So that was kind of a scuffed example of what this does, but basically all you need to know is that any item detector only works if the item is visible. So you can do some cool stuff with that as well. It just whatever y'all want to do with it. It's a really neat system. I think this is going to be useful for a lot of kind of adventure maps or creative maps. Like I know there's a uh, well, no, we already talked about it, but I think it's just a cool system. The thing I'm really most excited for, honestly, is the spells. It's a shame that some of them are a little bugged still. Like a lot of the AoEs have not been fixed, as well as some other stuff. That's really, honestly, kind of what's been keeping me away from the game, is just the lack of fixing these bugs. But the spells themselves are still cool to have, I guess. So. There's always that. But anyways, I hope y'all had a great day. Uh, I'm probably not going to be uploading for a bit longer. I've not been wildly kind of intrigued by the game, unfortunately, just due to the bugs and stuff. But the new spells that came out, Lemuria, is really cool. You guys should check it out if you haven't. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.